Welcome back, champions. Today we explore the essence of defiance, freedom, and the will to reshape ourselves from within. We will delve into Nietzsche's critique of religion and how it shackles the spirit with moral chains. By the end of this, you will understand the fierce liberation that comes from rejecting imposed virtues and awakening a life rooted in self-determined purpose. Let us begin by remembering that Friedrich Nietzsche was no ordinary philosopher. He was a challenger of giants, a hammer that struck the most formidable pillars of society, chief among them, religion. In his works, Nietzsche tore through the fabric of religious morality, exposing the hidden hand that has long subdued our most authentic desires, ambitions, and instincts. Why did Nietzsche condemn religious morality so vehemently? To answer this, we must understand that he saw in religious teachings a dual force, one that preaches salvation while subtly binding the will. God is dead, he declared, not as an atheist's war cry, but as a proclamation of human liberation. Nietzsche's vision was not to replace God with nothingness, but to ignite the flames of self-sovereignty. If we are to grasp this and transform it into action, we must dissect the very foundation of his argument. In his magnum opus, Thus Spoke Zarathustra, Nietzsche presents Zarathustra, a prophet of the Overman, as a herald who proclaims, "Man is something that shall be overcome." But how do we overcome ourselves if our inner drives are tempered by the imposed morality of an external divine? Nietzsche was adamant. True growth is stunted by the fear of divine retribution. He called it the slave morality, a set of values created by the weak to subdue the strong. Imagine a world where the greatest virtues are humility, meekness, and obedience. This was, according to Nietzsche, the legacy of Judeo-Christian moral systems. The powerful, the daring, those with an untamed will, were taught to feel shame for their natural strength. In On the Genealogy of Morality, Nietzsche lays bare the genesis of this reversal. The good of the noble and the powerful were reinterpreted by the priests as evil, and what the weak called good was nothing but a negation of life's most fervent expressions. We must confront an uncomfortable truth. We are heirs to this moral subversion. We've internalized a morality that glorifies suffering, framing it as a path to purity. But what if suffering, as Nietzsche posits, is not virtuous when self-inflicted in the name of adherence, but only meaningful when it sharpens our will? To break free from these chains, we must recognize that religious morals often shackle rather than uplift. This is the moment of awakening, realizing that living within these constraints denies the potential to create a world built from our highest values. In The Antichrist, Nietzsche attacks the concept of pity, a virtue lauded by religions. To him, pity was corrosive. It leveled the human experience down to the lowest common denominator. Instead of elevating others, it invites mediocrity. Pity stands in opposition to the tonic passions which heighten our vitality, he writes. Do you see it now? To wallow in pity is to drain your strength. To transcend it is to embrace what truly fuels life's great endeavor. Courage, the unflinching will to power. The will to power, this is the force that Nietzsche believed should replace the meekness that religious morals instill. The will to power is not mere dominance over others. It is the drive to perfect oneself, to overcome every weakness, and to sculpt the very essence of who we are. When we accept that our potential is only limited by the chains we allow ourselves to bear, we are then compelled to break them, to seek our own truths rather than the truths handed down from pulpits and holy books. Nietzsche argued that living under the weight of religious morality prevents us from embracing the chaos within us, the raw, primal energies that are the essence of creativity and authentic action. To live by borrowed values is to live a life not your own. Become who you are. he urged. This simple yet radical command is a call to shun the borrowed robes of religious constraint and craft a moral code born of personal experience, passion, and will. So how do we move from being bound by religious morals to embodying this Nietzschean freedom? It starts with recognizing the illusion of inherent moral truths. Morality, Nietzsche argued, is not universal. It is constructed, adapted to suit the needs of those in power, whether religious or otherwise. When we blindly follow, we surrender the authority over our own lives. But when we awaken to this reality, we begin to forge our own path, guided not by the dictates of ancient scripts, but by the pulse of our own ambition and the light of our reason. This path is not without its challenges. It requires relentless self-honesty, the courage to confront the comfortable lies we have told ourselves, and the willingness to face the discomfort of freedom. True freedom, as Nietzsche saw it, is not the removal of responsibility, but the acceptance of full accountability for our choices. He who has a why to live can bear almost any how, Nietzsche wrote, emphasizing that with a self-determined purpose, no obstacle is insurmountable. Imagine what would happen if we shed the belief that obedience and submission are virtues. What if instead we saw ambition as a sacred flame, fueling us to surpass not just others, but our own past selves? This is where personal transformation lies, not in quiet resignation, but in the fierce embrace of our highest potential. Nietzsche's vision, though dark to some, is ultimately one of empowerment. He invites us to become creators of our values, architects of our destiny. When we reject imposed morals that demand subservience, we gain the space to cultivate virtues that resonate with our truest selves. This does not mean the abandonment of compassion or community, but a redefinition of them under our terms. A compassion that strengthens, not weakens. A community that uplifts, not suffocates. As we challenge the doctrines that have been handed down to us, we must also challenge ourselves. To live freely is to accept the weight of our choices, to rise with every fall, and to burn brightly with the fire of our own making. Like Nietzsche's Zarathustra, who descends from the mountains with wisdom forged in solitude, we too must return to the world, not to preach conformity, but to live as examples of boundless will and creation. Remember, this path is not for the faint of heart. It is for those who are ready to claim their birthright as beings capable of more than mere survival. So I ask you, are you prepared to shatter the chains of inherited morality and step into the vast, uncertain realm of self-crafted freedom? If you found value in this journey, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel. Beat the algorithm and take control of the content you want to see. And remember to check out our other videos to continue expanding your knowledge and strengthening your path. Until next time, champions, stay strong and stay committed to your path.